All right, I think this is day 7, technically. Let's see here. Yesterday, though, I had the soldering iron out working on something else, so I went ahead and socketed the 5114 CMOS RAM there. I'm supposed to be getting some nvram substitutes today. But anyway, I put in a 2114 at the recommendation of Mecca on KLOV, and powered it up, and my CMOS error was gone. And I wish I would have filmed that, but I didn't. And then I came back and I was like, all right, let me see if this ribbon cable is still acting funky. And then I, just touched it. I was getting kind of the, freeze. The screen was freezing and stuff. And then all of a sudden I started getting a 126 RAM error. So that's kind of where we're at now. I pulled the RAM. I pulled the CMOS RAM, got rid of that error. I wish I would have filmed it. Then right after I did that, I was kind of just like touching this a little bit, and I started getting a 126 RAM error, which should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be that RAM right there. So I figured what I would do is probably pull that RAM, test it in my tester, and also test the original 5114 in my tester, and show you guys that real quick. But before I do that, let's turn off this light and just make sure we're still getting the 126 error here. Yep, getting a 126 error. Okay, so that's indicating a RAM. It could be coincidence. We could have just, powering it on and off, and a RAM failed or something. Let's see if I'm getting anything on the screen. Nothing yet. I want to show you the symptoms, and that's why I regret not filming yesterday. So I want to be able to film like all the symptoms that are out there. Let's hit reset, or the symptoms that I run into. There we go. So that is what it's looking like with a 126 RAM error, or whatever the heck is going on. So, it's telling us there's a 126 RAM error, but maybe it's not. And then the screen went away, obviously. So hit reset, 126. Getting kind of a rug pattern. And then goes away. So, all right, let me be right back. I want to show you testing this. This is going to be quick, but I have this Neolock Inquisitor memory tester now, which is very helpful. Has this SRAM blade that says it can test 2114s, which is what I have right here. I substituted exactly this chip, 2144L2, a TMM 314 APL or whatever. So that's what's actually in the Joust right now. We're going to power it on, and then put in our 5114 that I pulled. If you guys can see that, actually, I just took my time. It's one of the reasons I don't like filming it, is because it's kind of tedious, but I like to be able to pull out the chips, as cleanly as possible, and sometimes it's tedious and you have to take your time and stuff, so not something really worth watching. But we have select our test, so you can go, these are all the RAMs that you can test. (2101s) is the very first one, and then it says 2114, 6514s, 9114s, and the 5114 has a similar similar pin out, or it's the same pin out, etc. So we're going to test that, and it tested as bad. So we know that CMOS is bad according to this tester, and basically according to the behavior we saw in the game. And if I just take one of my extra 2114s and put it in there just to show you what a good chip looks like. It's pretty fast. checked out okay. So, all right, so we know that that RAM is the 5114 CMOS. We're going to chuck that in the trash, and we know that's bad. And we should have some nvram, which doesn't require batteries, replacements from Pintech, I think is where I got them, coming today. So
right,
we'll put that
whenever
in. Something like this happens, it's probably a good thing just to, sorry for the shadow there, but just to go back and test voltage. I'm hooked up to ground with a mini clip, and then I'm just going to probe the backside of this connector here and measure. So there's that. That's negative 0.49. I think the next one is 12. What is it? Damn. All right, let me see how I can do this and film it at the same time. That's, I think, unregulated 12 volts. The next one is 5 volts. And the next one is 12 volts. So our unregulated 12 volts, and we knew that was a little bit low anyway, but it's around 11. And our regulated 12 volts is at right on 12. And our minus 5 is basically minus 5, pretty close. And our 5 is 4.98. So I know our voltage is good. Maybe not at the chip, but definitely at the connector, and it shouldn't be too bad at the chip anyway. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this chip, this memory chip. We'll test it in our tester, but we'll also move it to see if the error changes. Be right back. Okay, so I took the suspect chip, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I took the row 2 because the error was 1, 2, 6. So 1 is RAM. 2 is this second bank of RAM, and chip number 6. I took that out and put it in bank number 1, chip 6. So if the RAM is bad, we should see 116, I would expect. But we could have something else going on. All these RAMs tested good before. The other thing is, I don't trust this ribbon cable not causing problems for us if I even touch it. You know, it's acting wonky, so I might, instead of, if this isn't obvious that it's a bad RAM issue, I'm going to wait until I get replacement ribbon cables to kind of eliminate that. Or just pull them apart and see if I can fix it myself. I'm not sure, so, and pin everything out, or continuity test every single pin here, which is like a pain in the butt. So all right, let's power it on, see what we get. Oh, 136. Oh yeah, this is this must be bank number 1, 2, and 3, but it actually tests this bank first. So it tests bank 3 first, and then 1, and then 2 or something. So anyway, you definitely want to move the chip. Sorry for that shadow. This is bank 3, that's bank 1, 2. Bank 1, 2, 3. And our error actually moved to a different location. So what you want to do is, I know it tests this bank first, this one, that's why we get the 131 error, or 132 that we were having at the very first series, because it tests this bank first. So if you have bad RAM, you want to kind of put it into, to verify it, you want to put it into a bank or a position that's before where the tested bad RAM was. So let me pause and see what the monitor looks like, because I actually just reset it. We got 1, 3, 6, so that's definitely different. And we have a rug pattern, which is kind of weird. Okay, so let me pull that RAM, put it in my tester, verify it's bad, and also put a replacement RAM in there. All right, so it's going to be hard because I don't feel like setting up the tripod, but what you basically have to do is pull out this blade here. Can I do it with one hand? Whatever. I'm going to pull out my SRAM blade and then put in my 4116 RAM tester blade. And now I have the power off, obviously, when you do that. And when you power it on, it should tell you recognize the core module will recognize the blade that you have installed, and this is the 4116 blade, and that's what we have to test is a 4116 RAM. So we're going to put that in and hit test. A little bit slower on this blade to obviously test it than that that SRAM blade. And it says it's good. Okay. That's interesting, right? It tested that bad RAM as good. Let's do it again. $41.16, yeah, I don't know. It's weird, right? It says it's okay. I would say we have a question mark there. I'm going to grab one of my other DRAMs and put it back into the game. Alright, I went ahead and put in a replacement RAM there that I believe tested, I believe is good, so see what we get. Now we get 127. So what happened? Did we short out some RAM or something by screwing with this ribbon cable? I guess it's possible. I'm not sure what's going through that. Maybe we ruined a couple bad RAM by just touching that ribbon cable, which is concerning, I guess. Or maybe, well, it does. Well, the RAM said it tested okay, so. All right, let me reseat 127. Actually, instead I pulled chip 127, which is the same type of RAM, this ITT 4116. So let's test it in this tester here. And it says it's good, so don't know what's going on here, guys. I'll go ahead and put in another replacement RAM into 127 and see what we get. And this version is, what is that? Gosh, you can't even see that. TMM, whatever. I'll be right back. All right, so what wild goose chase are we on now? I put a new, different RAM in at 127. All right, we got a zeros. Could it be bad, contact or just a bad socket or something? Who knows? But let's go ahead and come over here. Oh, I need to plug in my monitor. Nope, the monitor's plugged in. Why, I don't have anything on the screen. Did it reset? No, it says 0. Monitor's plugged in. I have nothing on the screen. Oh boy. What's going on here? Maybe if let me reset it. Okay, I have a 0. I have something up there, but nothing displayed on the screen. Really weird. It's in game mode, but it's not displaying anything. Oh, now we just got to reset. And our light's out. So this is what I'm saying is we probably have some ribbon cable issue, and I'm not going to keep jumping through hoops until I replace that ribbon cable. Now we got a 126 error, so that's what I'm saying. These RAM are testing good, and we're having some wonky behavior, and I think it's that ribbon cable. So I'm kind of going to be sidetracked for a while until I get replacements there, unless I choose to try to test the cable out itself. So, all right. Talk to you soon. Okay, everybody. I'm back after probably several days, many days, waiting for some parts to arrive. And you can see I have new ribbon cables for the ROM board. But I figured what I'd do is since I was going to pull the boards out anyway, I would go ahead and test this connector real quick and just show you how I tested it out. And not that it's perfect. This is kind of stiff, and but I still think there could be some cold solder joints, and maybe the cable's fine. So I'm not exactly sure how I should proceed. I like figuring out exactly what the problem was. So let me set this up on the tripod and test out that ribbon cable. All right, hopefully, I know it's not zoomed up a ton, but hopefully this will show. I'm going to go pin 40 here and just verify continuity and just keep going down. Now it's possible that some of these pins are shorted together as well, so we could kind of come like this and see if we're anything shorted like that. But so far it looks pretty decent. I know this is boring, but I just figured I'd document the fact that I tested every single one. So it doesn't seem like we had, we had any, shorts from my quick check, obviously, and everything has continuity. So to me, the cable is probably good. So I'm going to probably reflow solder on here, because one of the things is, if you look at this ROM board here, get real close, it looks like somebody did reflow solder on it, and it doesn't look great. I mean, it's kind of like all bubbled up there and stuff, so there could be some cold solder joints there. Solder on this side, is that too bright or what? Has never been reflowed, so also could have some cold solder joints. So I was thinking maybe, I mean, I do have the cables, but I'm kind of want to figure out what the problem is. So maybe I will reflow solder first and see if that fixes it. The other thing I noticed is there has been some work done on this ROM board right there for one of the ROM chips, and right there, so there was a, maybe they replaced the socket or there was a cut trace or something. So and they also reflowed some solder there as well. So I'm going to clean up all that and then come back. All right, the cables wasn't coming out, or the connector wasn't coming out, and I was worried about doing some damage to the traces on top. So what I did is I just popped off the kind of cover there, pulled the cable off of the connector, and then I'm going to heat up each pin and pull it from the top side, each one out. So definitely a major pain in the butt. And since I wasn't just going to reflow solder, I would have tried that first, but I figured if I'm going to go through all this work, I'm just going to put the new cable in. So let me pull out all these pins, and then I'll be right back. So it took all the way to I got the very last pin out, and I had used some flux and everything on the other side, but when I got to the very second to last pin, actually, then the whole connector just came out with 2 pins on it. So I would say, and look at the top side, not a single damaged trace that I can see, or through hole. You know what I mean? So it's worth it. If you're going to replace the connector, you might as well do that. There's a guy on Clove that actually sells an adapter, but he's out of stock, or he's not selling them right at the moment. But I would rather have done that, because it uses it adapts this setup right here to a normal 40-pin IDE cable, which is a lot better. So, but unfortunately, he didn't have that, so I got that from a Quarter Arcade. So, anyway, I'll clean up these just a little bit more, and then I'll solder in the new connector. All right, everything's done. Soldered back in that connector, reflowed solder on the header pins there on the power and stuff, so as well. So cleaned it all up and reflowed. Also reflowed it on that connector there. So we will, when I say reflow, I actually put some solder on, remove the solder, then flowed new solder. So that's what I did on those connectors, and got a nice new cable on there. And we'll put it in the game and see what we get. Okay, I have everything plugged back in. There's my new ribbon cable. I have not replaced the interface board cable yet, but I will do that. And I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and power it on. Oh, actually, I need to hook up my monitor. I'll be right back. That is so strange. Just like random lines or something. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on here, but for some reason I think there's an issue with the ROM board at this point. I'm just guessing, but if we hit our reset button, obviously it's able to go through the initial diagnostics to get a 0. So it's going through its RAM test, the CMOS test, and, well, actually it should be going through a ROM test as well. Interesting. The purple wires. This is the video output right there. Let's hit the reset one more time. See if we can see anything on the screen. We just get some weird lines and stuff. And then I get a 0 on the board. Let's see that. Let me get some light. Can't focus. Yeah, so I get a 0, right? And I assume right now it's in a state where I have to hit the advance button because we don't have a CMOS save. And then what happens? When I do that, look at the error code. Like when I go into game mode. So do I have still a CMOS issue? Let me try to replace that with one of the new nvram and just see what happens. Alright, I put the the new nvram from Pintech in there, 5114 nvram. It's all seated right, so we'll power it up. I don't think this is the issue, so got a 0. Nothing on the monitor. If I hit advance. Okay, well that's positive. Coin up, try to play or something. Well, I just got a big red screen. So, still says 0 though, which is positive. But I got nothing. And I know the monitor's working because I hooked up a TPG on it and it plays, but now I have nothing but. So I think we have something going on with our video output, I guess. I might have to hook my speaker up and just see if it's playing any sounds. I'll do that because I haven't fixed that yet. So all right, I have the speaker hooked up. We're gonna hit the reset button, kind of see what's showing up here. You get some random lines. I don't know if you guys can see that too well. And then the game boots. You don't hear that startup sound, but I can coin up and start playing. And then, obviously, you don't see anything on the screen, though. And then, I think it just starts flipping out. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on now. Got some crazy stuff there. Listen to that. Alright, we'll see what I can figure out. It's totally wacked. What I was going to do is I'm going to take, I opened up my Stargate. This is a revision B board, MPU board, so I'm going to take out my Stargate. It has the same decoder ROMs and everything, and it has the, I think, the update so that it will work in a Robotron and Joust. So it is a Rev B board. I'm going to take out this and put it in the Joust and just try to narrow down whether it's the ROM board or the MPU board. All right, I got my Stargate MPU board plugged in. Let's go ahead and power it up. Let's see. Monitor's hooked up. Yep. Got a 0 on the ROM board. And we have what's going on with the graphics. I can. Or is it working? Maybe I don't have my flyback turned up. Let's see here. Okay, well, now I have actually something on the screen. Maybe I turned the flyback down when I had my TPG hooked up to it. Well, Alright, well, it looks like it's something on the CPU board, or I didn't have the monitor. Well, no, see, that sounds weird, right? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to run some tests and then I'll be back. I might also, there's my Stargate. I'm going to put the Joust MPU board in that and power it up. I'm going to plug it in. I have the board hooked up. Turn on our Stargate. That doesn't look good, does it? I have nothing on the ROM board. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, we got something going on. It would help. I don't know. I don't remember unplugging that. Why was that unplugged? I don't know. Maybe I unplugged the power to the ROM board. Let's try again. I didn't remember doing that. All right, there we go. 0. Just lost all my high scores, obviously, I think. But there's nothing on the screen, so it booted up, but we have no video. Yeah, and this monitor was working, so there's definitely something going on on this MPU, probably with these transistors right here, or a chip driving them. We lost our video output somehow. All right. Be right back. Okay, while I have the, I noticed I was missing a sound there. I think it's the sound line 5's not working. So, and that's the kill sound or whatever when you get killed. So have that as an issue as well. Anyway, keep troubleshooting stuff, and definitely need to figure out what the what's going on with the video. Actually, real quick. Let me kill that. Let's go ahead and power this back on again. And you will see that Stargate has that sound when it boots up. I'm not sure if Joust does as well. I haven't heard it yet. But here, yeah, you can see the at the top there, but there's nothing on the screen. Oh. That's new. So some video is working. Let me reset it and try to coin up. Alright, we're going to coin up. And we're getting, you know, the game seems like it's playing, but we're definitely something toast up. But just wanted to show you what it looks like on Stargate. So there's definitely something going on with the MPU board.